we're good.
Yeah.
You go, bro. Okay. Shalom, shalom.
Speak up.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before we begin, we want to give infinite praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of the most on GMS who rule well and who taught us this truth. All right, the gates that don't language. All right, and we also want to say Shalom Barakim, Labakarim, Shalom Sha'Allah. That's peace and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, which is the 144,000 out of each tribe. All right, out of the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Yep, that's why when you read in Romans 15:4, it says the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning. All right, so everything out of the scriptures, you ought to take that and apply that to yourself in present time. All right, 2020, and it said that the prophets that have been before us, all right, have prophesied against great kingdoms. All right, and isn't America, all right, known as a great kingdom, all right, a nation of people, right? A country. If you can read that one more time.
Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Yep, of war and of evil and of pestilence. All right, which of course the scriptures is no stranger to pestilences and war and evil things to come. All right, and it mentioned pestilence, and of course, as many of the populace should know, all right, one of the diseases that came forth out of China, all right, is the coronavirus. All right, I mean, as of right now, that should turn a couple people's heads. Talking about the coronavirus, something very deadly, all right, which is very similar to I think the SARS virus or something along those lines, all right, where you literally had these Moabites, all right, you so-called Chinese people, literally eating legit any other thing that breathes that comes across your table, all right, you know, whether it was man-made or it was actually a natural disease or whatnot, it's still gonna devastate these people. All right, when you look online in Wuhan right now, it's a damn ghost town, you know.
Mm-hmm. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 15 verse 49. It says, "I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death."
Yep, the Lord's gonna fill your houses with death and destruction by what? Pestilences. All right, this coronavirus being one of them. All right, not only that, of course, but the thing is, just recently, I think it was on Sunday, all right, this past week, you had the death of the infamous Messiah, Kobe Bryant. All right, your precious basketball player. All right, which me personally, all right, some brothers think that this might be just a plot device or a distraction created by the elites. All right, to stop what's going on behind the scenes. Because right now, all right, we're in the midst of a pandemic. And people just want to talk about Kobe Bryant all day, all right? That is all you hear when you ever go to work or whatever you jakes go, all right? You're going to hear just Jake chewing your fucking ear off talking about Kobe Bryant all day, all right? We're in the midst of a pandemic that can cost the lives of millions, which is biblical prophecy, all right? You got that in Matthew 24, chapter?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, this is Matthew chapter 24, and I'm going to start at verse 6. "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these must come to pass, but the end is not yet."
Yep. I remember just recently, I think it was about 3 to 2 months ago, remember you had China unveiling and actually like flaunting over their the new nuclear warheads, right, known as the Dongfeng 21 or the DF-41. You know, they have different names for it. And they're flaunting all over this, parading over it with their the military parades, all right, saying that it was as of that day, I think it was around September, all right, they were saying that it was the fastest nuclear missile or ICBM that was able to traverse these different continents, all right, it's a nomen omen, ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missile, all right. The fact that it's able to go across these other countries, all right, and they're on the four corners of the earth, already tells you what type of weapons that these are, man. All right, weapons of mass destruction. Okay. Yeah, you had anything on that, Matthew?
Yeah. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7. "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places.
Yep. Oh yeah, and earthquakes in diverse places. All right. I know recently, I think Puerto Rico was never really hit with that much devastation of earthquakes. All right, but just recently it was hit with I'm not sure if the number increased, but what, like 400 or 200?
No,
earthquakes?
900.
No. In the beginning of the year, Puerto Rico got hit with 800 earthquakes.
Oh, 800?
Yeah, 800.
Okay, 800 earthquakes.
Yeah.
And what? And because of that, you're having a very soon a tsunami alert. All right.
Yeah.
I think I think even Miami are preparing evacuations as we speak.
Was-
This alert that went on.
What was it? It was either yesterday or the day before yesterday. Jamaica got hit with a 7.7, I believe.
Yeah,
You know?
Spiritual number.
Yeah.
All those things are in conjunction, via the Lord really accelerating this via nature. All right, you're gonna have a tsunami. All right, and it's most definitely it's gonna hit one of these places. And it's not a coincidence that you got Jake dwelling in there. All right, showing you that one, it's judgment, and second, a heavy prophecy or a heavy devastation to come. All right.
I'll go one more verse. Matthew 24:8. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
All these are the beginning of sorrows, and I think the scriptures even talk about how all these things are just the beginning. All right, so the fun hasn't even started yet. All right, you can get Jeremiah 7:30 or 37. Jacob's trouble.
Yeah, 37.
This is Luke chapter 21, verse 9. It says, "But when ye shall hear wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass. But the end is not by and by."
Yep, the end is not by and by. Okay, we haven't even gotten to Jacob's trouble yet. We haven't even seen the introduction of the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. All right, that hasn't even been on the major scale yet. All right, which even prophecies like the mark of the beast is being so common now, in conjunction with cashless societies. Matter of fact, cashless societies are being so common now that even in Sweden you have homeless people actually like begging people with credit card readers. All right, that's how common cashless society is. People just looking for conveniences. All right, instead of getting off your fat ass and going to the actual ATM. All right, that's what America's all about as well, man. Part of that wine. I want it, and I want it now. All right, convenience. 7-Eleven markets. All right, 7-Eleven diets, all types of stuff.
That's the way they're going to get the majority of the people. Even through scaring you half to death and getting you that way, or, like the brother just said, through convenience.
Right.
Because you're lazy.
Yeah, that's how they pushing the chip, through convenience.
This is Luke chapter 21, verse 10. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven.
Yep. And guess what? And we're not going to be surprised if next thing you know, we're going to see lunar eclipses, blood moons. All right. This is the thing that the Lord has put context clues for you to know where you're at right now. All right. Race wars. That's no different. I think what was it last week I think it was last week. You had that protest down south in Richmond.
Yeah.
All right. Over these gun pro Edomites.
Yeah. Gun rights.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gun right Edomites. All right. You best believe showing their love over these their precious guns. You think they're just gonna give it up that easily?
No.
All right, to the government and their people? What do you think they're trying to do? They're trying to suppress what's it called an insurrection. All right. Actually, if brother can look up on them online the word anarchy. That's actually what the word goes back to. Anarchy, just civil unrest. Okay, just total chaos. All right. So if we can get to Jeremiah.
Real quick, I'm gonna get the brother precept. 2 Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're gonna read. We're gonna go into the articles. We're gonna read our scriptures. We're gonna read our Bibles. All right, and actually see which prophecies connect with this prophecy. All right, and a quick question to the populace: which one of you guys are doing that right now? All right, which one of you guys are actually going onto Google and actually saying, "Whoa, this is biblical prophecy"? All right, who's actually doing that? Putting their time aside and sacrificing your time to look into the scriptures. All right, and knowing what time you're in, knowing that perilous times are coming. All right, these people aren't doing that. All right, instead they're investing time into themselves. All right, rather than to take heed to the Lord's warnings via His prophets. All right, get in Jeremiah.
Yeah. Okay. Jeremiah 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
Yep, it's going to be a time like never was, okay? And we've seen plenty of all types of catastrophic events that happen in times past, all right, whether it be, insurrections, all right, against the government, pestilences like the Black Death, all right? Even the Ebola virus back in, 2015 in Africa, all right? Which Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, all right, he made all types of vaccines, all right, to try to combat it, but in reality, it just made things worse, all right? Testing on the populace, testing them with these vaccines like freaking guinea pigs or something, you know? And to mention that time as never was, all right? And I wanted to get that word anarchy on Adam Online.
This is anarchy as a noun. It says from the 1530s, it says absence of government, all right? From Greek anarchia, lack of a leader, the state of people without a government. All right.
Wow. Yeah, we have absence of government or without a government. So what? Not having a police force, so to speak. All right. Because you best believe when 911 isn't working no more, it's gonna be just exactly that, like that one movie, The First Purge.
Yeah.
All right. And where was it tested? According to the movie, the plot, it was tested in Staten Island in New York. Staten Island. Oh yeah, Staten Island. Who lives there? It's Jake. All right. It's you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's who they tested this experiment on. All right. And what? Jake was just partying and bullshitting and killing themselves, taking advantage of the situation and not caring that it's just total anarchy. And that's what it means, absence of government. All right, it's going to be total chaos out here. All right?
A little bit more. Also from 1660s as confusion or absence of authority in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just absence of authority. Wait, it's a confusion, right? Yeah, it's a confusion, all right? You're not going to know what. Not even the actual police force are going to do shit about it, all right? It's going to be every man for himself, all right? A free-for-all, all right? Everybody's just going to be killing everyone, friend against friend, neighbor against neighbor, and the scriptures talk about these things, all right? So you got that second Ezra.
Yeah, second Ezra 16 and 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord.
Mm-hmm, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, all right? And to keep going, I think it talks about the madmen, right?
Yeah. Verse 71, 2 Ezra 16 and 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord.
Mm-hmm, yeah, they're going to be like madmen, sparing none. All right, they're going to show no pity on you, man. All right? The Lord is bringing back the spirit of death in America. All right? And you know what? The perfect example of that was during the mosque shooting, man. All right? That guy was like a damn murderous clone. All right? That guy spared no one. All right? And I wouldn't be surprised if he even murdered some children or women, all right, or young women or whatnot. Okay, this dude spared none. All right, when he shot up that mosque. Okay, and it's going to be the exact same thing. The Lord's going to put the spirit just like that on these people to spare not in that day. All right, it's going to be way worse. I mean, I don't know how it could get worse than that, but it's going to be way worse.
Yeah, like it says, upon those that fear the Lord. That's talking about you Israelites. All right, because these other, especially Esau, which is the Lord's sword. He's going to get busy on you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. All right? Because he's after you guys primarily, you know? He hates us because of the birthright when you read back in Genesis, you know? So,
31. This is Isaiah chapter 31 and 1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many. And in horsemen, because they are very strong.
Yep. Woe to them that bow down to Egypt for help. Which we know modern day Egypt is talking about what? That's that place that is spiritual Sodom and spiritual Egypt. Right? It's talking about America. All right? So in this place, you're going to have Jake literally looking hope for the baby daddy Esau. And what's going to happen? All right? It's just going to go to no avail. All right? They're going to turn your back on you, and then you're going to be left in straits. All right? You're going to be left to bite the dust. All right? You're going to be left fending for yourself. And you're still going to cleave onto this devil. All right? But it says, woe to them that go to the enemy, all right?
This is, I'll just read it all over again. This is Isaiah chapter 31, verse 1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Most High.
Yep. Guess what? In the midst of all this, being carnal as you can be, you look not unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. You look not unto your power that actually loves you. All right. You look not to a power that actually give you life and show to you mercy. All right. But rather you rather go to your enemy, which secretly in his heart hates your ass. All right. Completely with a continuous and perpetual hatred. All right. Continuous even to this day. So what? They're not gonna look unto their power, all right. And I remember there was a law that if you were fearful of the enemy, all right, I think you were casted out because essentially you're showing no faith, all right. Which the Lord even talked about that. A faithless generation, all right. These people are not gonna even look. They're not even gonna cry to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you were scared to go to war back in the ancient world, it was best to stay home.
Yeah.
You know.
To stay home.
Yeah, that was a commandment. If you scared of the enemy, it was commanded that you stay home.
Right.
Because you didn't have faith.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you didn't have faith. Because what? You're thinking carnally. You're looking at the numbers of Esau and you're thinking, oh shit, I don't want to cross this dude. I'm gonna stick to him. But we see the unseen. We see the invisible one, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which is greater than any other army in existence. All right, that's who we look onto. But you being carnal, being unfaithful, right? Being fearful. All right, you're going to cleave to your enemy instead. All right?
Isaiah 30:2. That walked down. So I'm going to start at 1. I'm going to read the first 3 verses. Isaiah 30:1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Here's the point. Verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
Yep. Hey, the 2/3 out here, the ones that are rebellious, these are the same spirits that sit back in Egypt that we would have been in a better condition if we'd even stayed. All right, when the Lord just clearly delivered you. Why do you think Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is known as the living power? All right, the Lord of hosts, because he actually showed you in your face, all right, the magnificent power that he can be held on the multitude of people. All right, which other God did that? Which other God delivered you out of captivity? Which other God gave you laws, statutes, and commandments to live by? You know, name me one. It wasn't Buddha. All right, it wasn't Allah. All right, and it definitely wasn't Jesus Christ. Okay. They look not to the Holy One of Israel, all right, but instead what? Trusting in the shadow of Egypt, all right, and that's going to be your shame, all right.
This is Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Most High, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die.
Yeah, the residue, the unwanted dross, the unwanted, what's it called, the dust, all right, the part that the Lord doesn't want, that's what they are, all right.
The wood.
2/3 out of the people,
the wood,
all right? Yeah, the wood, the one that's burnt, all right. Actually, I think it's that same book, the implication of whether stand upon the feet.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
What now?
And it makes the unwanted dross, okay? All right, because essentially they're going to burn up during those times, right? Because these thermonuclear missiles that are coming, that's going to be hella judgment for a lot of the people around here, all right? Everyone is going to get a slice. Everyone's going to get a cup of that indignation of the Lord, and the 2/3 included, all right? This is a very divided time, all right? The Lord is getting very specific towards this era, all right? He's not even dealing with the rest of the nation of Israel, all right? Only a specific sect. All right, the ones that are actually listening to him. All right, now the ones that want to disregard him are gonna be a bunch of niggas, spicks, and wetbacks. All right, it's not gonna be a fun time for you. All right, you got that.
This is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Most High will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongues shall consume away in their mouth.
Exactly, and what's that talking about? That's not, and you know what's crazy? That's actually literal, all right? That's the power and the effects of the ICBMs, all right? The intercontinental ballistic missiles, all right? These things, they have the capability of doing just that, all right? Burning you and to smithereens while you stand, all right? You can even be blinded just by looking at the damn explosion, all right? And I remember, I think there's an effect out there. It's called I think nuclear shadows. All right, which all that's left. And for example, if you're standing in a wall over there or something, and the nuclear bomb is detonated, all that's left is the silhouette or the nuclear shadow of what you were doing beforehand. All right, that's how devastating these things are. That the only thing that is left is, well, really nothing if the wall wasn't there. You know, this is devastating. This is something you definitely don't want to be a part of. All right, and the Lord's gonna have it to where this destruction is gonna happen in 1 hour. All right. And it's not even that. The Lord's gonna have it to where you feel every single second of that pain. All right, the intense pain. All right, and then that's the judgment of the Hawabah Shemi Al-Shai that we're talking about. All right, and guess what? You can avoid every one of this. You can avoid it by just hearing the words of the Lord. All right, how many people are doing that? All right, how many people are willing to actually take heed and not be a part of the mass destruction
James
coming?
2 and 12.
All right,
and graft the word which is able
the
to
lake
save
of
you.
fire. All right, which was a vision that John the Revelator saw in the chariots. All right, what you people deem the so-called UFOs.
This is Psalms chapter 110, verse 5. It says, "The Most High Yahweh at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries."
Over many countries. Yep. Because another country would be China. Because a lot of people like to think that China is laughably going to be the next nation to rule Earth. All right. But pursuant to Job 9 and 24. All right. Right now, the time of rulership belongs to the wicked. All right, which is the Edomites. All right. So how is it that these Moabites, right? These dogs, how are they going to be the next rulers of Earth? How are they going to have the power over Earth in their hands? All right. Look, man, the Lord talks about a time where He's going to snatch every single one of these nations' crowns. All right, and the next rulership is going to belong to what? To our Lord, Mashiach Yahweh Shai. All
That's
right.
right.
The thing is, and it's just like I think it's in Revelations where it mentions, Revelations 11 and 14. The piece of.
I got one piece up real quick. I'm gonna get the brothers. This is James 1 and 21. "Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls."
Yeah, which is able to save your souls. All right, and this precept actually proves that this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is way, way more valuable than any other fiat currency or any other piece of gold or silver you ever attain in your life. All right, because what can physical riches deliver you in the time of trouble? I think not. The scripture just said that they can deliver your soul. All right, these things are way better than rubies. All right, because this thing can actually save you. No, it doesn't matter any top-notch bunker. All right, the top dollar bunkers you can buy, or the bulletproof tanks, or any types of arms, any type of carnal thinking is not going to save you in those times. All right.
Zephaniah 1 and 18. "Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of His jealousy, for He shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land."
Yeah, hey man, hey, look, you're in complete darkness if you think that you're going to escape the said perils. All right. The Lord's not going to leave damn near nothing. All He's going to leave is a damn skeleton on the ground. Or even that. All right? These Edomites, these high-level Edomites really think they're going to be A-okay during those times. Thinking that when those thermonuclear missiles drop, because they know it's coming, all right, thinking that they're going to have a luxurious bunker over there in Antarctica or Greenland. All right, it doesn't matter. All right? No private jets. You're not going to be able to colonize any other planets. Enough with all that noise, all right? The Lord's not going to let you escape. All right?
He's gonna say something, Shimon?
I was gonna say real quick, like the brother was going into how people might think Moab is next. Well, according to what the Lord said, which is what goes, all right, Jacob has next. All right? I'm gonna get this quick precept. Psalms 2 and 1. "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" And the vain thing that these heathen and these people imagine is that whoever got the power, they got next. All right? But you see, that's a vain thing that these heathen think they got next. Because according to 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, it speaks about how Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. Meaning what? Once Esau is ruling, Israel got next, man. All right? Which is your so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Next up to rule.
I mean, we didn't even get a chance yet. What the hell makes you think that Moab Moab. This is the guy that eats live rats. You know, the guy that claims that all types of rich culture. You know that people love to visit. Look, man. Look, these wide-eyed pricks are not going to get nothing in the next era to come. All right, it's all belonging to Israel. All right, if you get that revelation.
This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. It says, "The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly."
Oh, yeah, the second woe is past. All right, the second world war has passed, all right, and the third woe cometh quickly. I remember even on Twitter, hashtag World War III, that shit was trending. All right, on Twitter, man. You know? Keep going.
Verse 15. "And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, The kingdom of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord, and of his Hamashiach, and he shall reign forever and ever."
Yep. The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord Hamashiach Yahushai. All right. So what does that tell you? That tell you that our Lord is not. That tell you that the next kingdom isn't going to belong to any other nation. All right. It's not going to be to any other the ancient heathen nations. All right. It's gonna belong all the way to us. All right. We waited long enough. We suffered long enough. All right. The Lord's gonna have it to where He snatched the crowns off of these other kingdoms. All right.
Yeah, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 18. Salakia. "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever."
Yeah, forever, ever, and even forever. That's a lot of evers. All right. That shows you that it's gonna be forever. All right. Well, we're gonna reign with Him with 1,000 years, right? Which really, in reality, that just means forever. All right. And you can't even fathom things like that. All right. So look, if the Lord told you and promised you that you're gonna have a long kingdom to pass, then you best believe it's worth fighting for. All right. If we suffer with Him now, all right, we're gonna be joint heirs with Him, like it says in Romans. All right. So look, we got next. All right. Now none of these other nations. All right. They had their fun. All right. We even drink that cup. That cup being slavery. All right. Which all the 12 tribes have experienced. We all drink of that cup, and that sentence is slowly running out. All right. That time has expired. All right. The fact that we're even out here, all right, proclaiming these words, all right, in the faces of our enemies, that should already tell you, all right, that time is surely coming to pass. You know.
This is prophecy.
Yeah. This is Psalms chapter 145, verse 13. "Thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and thy dominion endureth throughout all generations. The Most High upholdeth all that fall, and raises up all those that be bowed down."
Yeah, right. Hey, it's going to be a total 180 of the curses that was put upon us. All right. Just here, Deuteronomy 30 and 7.
Not the best piece.
But yeah, all those things, all the curses that we've experienced, they're going to experience it in the time to come. All right. The tables are going to turn. All right. To the Spirit, the tables have turned. All right. Are turning. All right. Like the brother said. All right. Prophecy. All right. Things that hasn't happened yet, but we're foretelling you. All right.
Yeah. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 9. "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth."
Right. Now, that's the Apocrypha, and I'm pretty damn sure that word there for world, it would have to be ion or eon. All right. Talking about a specific segment of time. All right. So it said Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. We haven't even got to that yet. The fun time of Jacob ruling forever and ever, all right, literally across the universe, it hasn't even begun yet. You know, people like to say, "Oh, it's just the beginning." We're not even at the beginning. All right, we're before the prologue. You know, and we're very, very, we are very close to entering the introduction. All right, the first page of the new book. You know.
Yeah, the true new world.
Yeah, the true.
No, I got it. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth."
Hey, there is a certain time where us so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans couldn't even raise up our voices to proclaim our opinion. But look at us now. All right, in the marketplaces. All right, in the midst of Silver Springs, telling you in your face that you're the enemy. All right, and that we're gonna be on top. All right, and that we're gonna be delivered by so-called UFOs, by the chariots, the angels, and that actually look like us. You know, that's a total different season. All right, that enough should tell you that this is living prophecy. All right, I tell it to they made no account of our labors. All right, you gonna say something?
I was gonna say real quick because like the brother's going into how basically us being out here itself, that's prophecy within itself. Because when the Lord, you know, what he does is he sends his messengers before he does something, you know. And what Isaiah, I believe it's in Isaiah the 13th chapter, where it says, "Lift ye up the banner," and that's exactly what you see us doing, man. And that scripture speaks about judgment to this place. So you see us out here, you best believe that the judgment's coming, and slowly but surely you see it, man. You see the pestilence. Right after, you see the wars and the rumors of wars, man. That's the scriptures coming to life before your very eyes, man. You know?
I believe it's Romans 13 and 11.
Right.
You got it?
Go ahead.
This is Romans chapter 13, verse 11. That's the spirit. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Yep.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
It's now nearer than we believe. See, get Acts the first chapter where John, the apostles were asking
I got you.
times to come. Because the thing is, we're entering the time now of the parable, all right, between the rich man, what was it, the rich man Lazarus and the dogs, all right, the transition of kingdoms, all right. It's not going to change forever, all right. And as it is written, the earth corresponds with its ruler. And right now, these people aren't happy. All right, they have to hide it behind memes. All right, the bottle, right? drugs. All right, the shitty ass music that comes out nowadays. All right, makes you want to fucking tear your ears out, man. All right, so this thing, the earth is waxing older and older by day. All right, and the thing is, if we're ruling again, even the heathen are gonna be happy. All right, hell, I mean, with the amount of hell we're gonna be casting on Esau might be happy, probably. You know?
Nah, I don't think so, bro.
Yeah. What else? Oh, yeah.
Acts chapter 1, verse 6. When they were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Yeah, Acts 1 and 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
Yeah, at this time, are you going to restore the kingdom to these people? Are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? When are you going to restore? When are you going to restore Earth back to its former glory? I mean, actually, matter of fact, the Earth never even existed with its full potential. All right, it's Yapa and 100% perfection. All right, because even then, before the foundation of the earth, the Lord always wanted the nation of Israel to live. It was just that. All right, He always wanted the nation of Israel just to live. All right, but of course, it was preordestined that the Mashiach Yahushua would come into the scene. All right, the enemy would be over us. All right.
This is Why not? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 17. Therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me, for all its vanity and vexation of spirit.
Yeah, therefore I hated life. Because the thing is, even back then, the prophets, all right, they're in the same spirit that we are in. All right, we hate this life. We hate this current eon. All right, not that we hate life, you know, not that we're suicidal Edomites or nothing. But we hate this life. All right, we don't want this current. If you like this place, then you're out of your goddamn mind. All right,
check yourself.
Honestly, yeah, check yourself. All right, because this ain't living. All right, just like Marvin Gaye said, right? That song, "This Ain't Living," right?
Oh yeah.
Being subject to our enemies, or having our money snatched away from us before we even see it. You know, get down some.
This is John chapter 7, verse 7.
These are words of Hamashiach Yahushai. It should be in red letter. Right?
It is. John chapter 7, verse 7, it says, the world cannot hate you, but me it hateth, because I testify of it that the works thereof are evil.
Yeah, I testify of it that the works thereof are evil. ¿Qué dijiste? ¿Qué? Yo hablo español también. ¿Dónde vas? Ven acá.
Just ask him what's up.
¿No tienes pregunta? ¿Tienes pregunta? ¿Tienes pregunta?
No? Ah, ok. Pensaba que teníamos preguntas.
¿Te puedo preguntar algo? ¿Qué es tu nacionalidad? ¿Qué es tu nacionalidad? ¿Dónde vienes?
¿Cómo?
Hey, tell him you mind stepping in front.
Yeah. ¿Puede venir acá? ¿O no? ¿No? ¿No quieres? Ok. ¿No tienes pregunta de por qué estamos acá?
Yo quiero que se concentren ustedes, pero ustedes no están concentrados.
¿Cómo no estamos concentrados?
No.
¿No estamos?
No.
¿Por qué no? ¿Por qué hice eso?
Porque
Ok. All right.
yo soy
¿Ah?
cerebro.
Ok.
He might not be. He might not be.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yo said that.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
Precept.
Yeah, that's pretty.
This is talking about King Solomon. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 2. It says, wherefore I praise the dead which are already dead, more than the living which are yet alive. Yea, better is he than both they which hath not yet been, who hath not seen the evil work that is done under the sun.
Yeah, because even then, some of the prophets only desired to be with the Lord, right? Honestly, all right? I mean, hey, this is hell right now, all right? Which hell, of course, being a condition, all right? Which that's where we're at now, right now. A low state, a low condition in America. Which even then, America goes back to the Latin word, or the also in Spanish as well, amargo, meaning bitter. All right, this is a bitter ass place for these people.
That's
right.
right.
Even the 2/3. All right, and as the scriptures say, they suffer straight things. All right, and that's not straight, of course. It's straight, straight. All right, difficult and tumultuous things. All right, and Jake may go through it, but so do we. But the only difference is that we actually do it. We're actually suffering for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
That's right.
They suffer just to get by. We don't want to get by. All right, we actually want things to change. Funny enough, people like to call us, terrorists and things like that. But we actually have the best, and most, really the best solutions for planet Earth. Really for everyone. You know.
Yeah, it's a message from on high, you know. And the one common occurrence that you see, you know, me personally been reading in the book of Habakkuk. Habakkuk was in that spirit of complaining, which is exactly the spirit, in righteousness, of course, which is the exact same spirit that we're coming in, you know. But one thing that you notice is Habakkuk, his name means to embrace when you go into the Hebrew, all right? And that's exactly what we're doing. We're embracing the prophecies, all right? Because it spoke about prophecy when you read in that book, you know. It spoke about, it went from him complaining about the wickedness that was going on, which is what's going on here. That's exactly what we're doing, complaining about the wickedness, all right? To hearing about the prophecies about it, like it says in the 2nd chapter. And in the 3rd chapter, it speaks about that judgment that's to come. And it prophesies of Yahweh Shai's second coming, man, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. If I can get a quick scripture. Yeah. Yep. This is the book of Habakkuk. Salakia, I skipped over it. Habakkuk chapter 1 and verse 4. Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Which the modern day, when we apply it to today, the wicked ones are the Edomites, man. And who are the righteous ones? Ultimately the Israelites, but in these times, all right, the 1/3, the elect, that's the righteous, man. All right? And there's more of us, there's more of them, all right, physically. Of course, there's more angels and such protecting us, all right? But you see them, they compass us, they're in rulership, essentially, you know? This isn't the Lord's kingdom yet, all right? Let me finish it out. Therefore, wrong judgment proceeded. Right, because these people, the so-called white man, they decree unrighteous decrees. All right, they do things that vex us. Okay, they give homosexuals rights. All right, they tax the hell out of us, man. You know, they raise up prices on your rent. They do things like that, man, to oppress Jake specifically. You know.
Hey. It's funny. First thing I meant to say before the camera started rolling is that what the Hebrew Israelites are actually the prophets of doom. All right. If we can get that in the
Joel 3.
No.
This is Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain.
Yeah, and if I may say real quick, I mean, even an alarm, whether it be a firefighter or a police car, that's not. Every time I hear it, you hear that eerie and loud ass annoying alarm. And it's just very, it's creepy, right? It's uncomfortable, all right. And an alarm should never be comfortable, all right. And that's the point. The Lord should sound an alarm, a warning to His people. The very bad time is coming, all right. Why do you think we're nicknamed the prophets of doom? We don't have good news. Oh, well, so I can take that back. We have good news, but the thing is, a good news can be bad news to someone else. Mm-hmm. You know.
Good news, yeah.
This is Joel chapter 2, verse 1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion,
Jeremiah
and sound an
4:19.
alarm in my holy mountain, that all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Most High cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
Yeah, but it's nigh at hand, and let everyone tremble. All right, and from the way I'm looking at things, everyone's just walking with their head held up high. All right, not wondering what this is about, or trying to shamar to the word of the Lord. all right? And what? It's to speak unto Zion, all right? A monument. Who is that monument talking about? That's talking about these people, all right? So of course, this gospel is directed to you, all right? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, all right?
Yeah. This is Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 19. My bowels, I am pained at my very heart. My heart maketh a noise in me. I cannot hold my peace, because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war.
You know, and that's what we sounded, because the scripture, you know, the brother was going into how, you know, we're pushing out an alarm, man. We're pushing out the alarm of the Lord, and the Lord told us to blow that sound of the trumpet, which is what the alarm of war, okay? Because we letting our people to know that what World War III is on the horizon, okay? It's upcoming. You got prophecies, you got pestilence, you got the mark of the beast at hand. All right, so we're blowing that trumpet, the alarm of war, man.
Yep, that's right. And even then, during like weather alerts, or like whether it be a hurricane or whether it be a tornado, you hear that uncomfortable and unpleasant sound of an alarm. That alarm should really shouldn't tell you just be happy-go-lucky. No, it should tell you to look for shelter. All right, take heed.
But we living in a time period where our people are spiritually deaf, so we're blowing the trumpet, but they can't hear us.
Yep, like it says, I believe it's in Luke. We have pipe, but ye have not.
You have not danced.
Yep, that's right. If I could say real quick, because I didn't bring it out yet, but I believe it's in Thessalonians where basically it's how Apostle Paul said, "Ye are not in darkness." All right, because the Lord has actually given us the ability to foresee and actually know what the vision, the scriptures is telling us. All right, and you see. When you can't, all right, when you're spiritually discerned and you can't understand that what's coming, all right, that's how you're in darkness, all right, because nothing but death and destruction is coming, and for you to be delivered, you have to have faith in what the Lord told you, which is faith in His words, man.
Yep. Of course, that alarm can consist of many things, all right. Even speaking to Zion, all right, we got to tell all the perils, right. What we have is not pleasant, but it can save your life. Yeah. Right?
Real quick, because that's why, when we have the Shabbat service or the Pesach, that's why we bless the Most High for giving us the ram's horn to call the people. Spiritually, that goes into the prophecy, man. Yeah. To call the people, call the elect, man. So that's a special calling right there, man.
Yeah, that's right.
If I'm not mistaken, I think you even have like different types of horns for different occasions, solemn assemblies, time for feasting, things like that. But the thing is, we're not in the time of feasting. Yeah. We're in the time of war, a spiritual war.
Yeah, you got different sounds for different times. It's the same thing with just lifeguarding. Different whistle blasts let you know different things. Same thing, with the book.
This is Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. It says, "For behold, the Most High will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Most High shall be many."
Hey, it is no coincidence that right now, according to ESA statistics, there's over 7+ billion people on Earth. That's a lot of people. And compared to the 144,000 and the 1/3, those numbers don't look very good, man. All right, and this is the reason why the Lord said that the slaying of the Lord shall be many. Yep. All right, it's gonna be many. All right, one word can mean a whole different meaning. All right, and it said He's gonna plead with all flesh, which if I'm not mistaken, the Hebrew word there for plead is shapat, meaning to judge. Right. All right, and to fall into the hands of the Lord is not pleasant. All right, because a lot of these people can say, "Oh, only God can judge me. Oh, only God can tell me what to do." But that's the point. That's why He has His men set up, so you don't want to be judged of the Most High. So that tells you what type of people these people are. All right, the people that err not knowing the scriptures.
It's a good precept. Yeah, 2 Ezra 8:1. "And he answered me, saying, The Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few."
And the same goes for the understanding. The Lord didn't make this truth for everyone. All right. Now, of course, we're out here fishing. We're not expecting to catch the whole pond. We're expecting to catch a few of those jewels in the lake or the pond.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Not everything in the pond is clean.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't want no damn shrimp in my bucket or nasty ass crabs. Yeah. I mean, we want the lobsters. All right, catfish. Yeah, we don't want any of that. We're not looking for the residue. We're looking for the gold out of that cluster.
Yeah, if I could say real quick, it even says in the New Testament, commit thou unto faithful men that will teach others also. You know, which is give this word out, man, to those who are willing to take it, man, who are willing to do this. Okay, the sincere ones who are willing to bear their cross and do what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua commanded us to do. Zechariah 8:16. Read it. Zechariah chapter 8 verse 16. These are the things that ye shall do. Speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor. Execute judgment of truth and peace in your gates.
Exactly, all right? Because that's the way of truth, all right? A very difficult passageway. If it wasn't that way, then look, the Lord spoke about it, all right? A broad and an easy way, leading to destruction, all right? A lot of people like to say that Islam is the most fastest growing religion of all time, but that shows you that it's not the truth, all right? Even with Christianity, the population in that, the statistics of people joining that religion, it doesn't matter, right? The Lord's not looking for numbers. The only specific number he's looking for is, of course, the 144,000, all right? The straight way, if you want to get that.
I got it already. I got you.
Come, backing up with read in Isaiah 66. This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 22. It says, and I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood. And I will rain upon him and upon his bands and upon the many people that are with him an overflowing rain and great hailstone, fire, and brimstone. Just to say that this thing over here in China is just the very tip, all right, of the iceberg. All right, but it's going to get far worse from here on out.
Oh, yeah.
So if your emotions are getting the better of you now, you know, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
All right. You in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, what makes that virus so dangerous, you know, I was reading up on it. What makes that virus so dangerous is that you don't know if you have it until 8 or 11 days later. So it can spread so fast, and the damage that it could cause could be so catastrophic. It's not even funny, man.
That's why they're closing the border.
Yeah, and Lord's will that this be the virus that you know, that's heavenly sent. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we pray, and if it's not, you know, so be it. But we know that it is coming. That's thus save the Lord, man. You know.
And if I may add real quick, I actually read about that. The thing is, you can catch that shit without even showing the symptoms at all. All right, and which is, the symptoms are pretty normal, like coughing. It's very similar symptoms to like catching the cold.
Yeah, it's everybody has that shit. So how do you know somebody has the coronavirus or not? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Right. And it's very highly contagious, just like anything else. The only piece of advice they gave you is actually the what's it called, the face masks. The face masks are deficient. They don't even help. Right?
Pestilence.
The only
piece
of advice they gave you is cover your nose when you sneeze. All right, and wash your hands. All right, that's the only advice they gave you for this for the coronavirus. All right, and they mentioned pestilence in there. The Lord's gonna judge you with pestilence, and even then, there's coronavirus. I mean, it's very serious things. I mean, there's videos of people convulsing in the hospital beds, or all types of stuff.
Salakia, not yet.
Try like 13 maybe.
Oh, I found it. Oh, Salakia.
Go ahead and shoot it.
This is Psalms chapter 91, verse 5. It says, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness.
The pestilence that walketh in darkness. Because ultimately, the men of the Lord, we're not going to fear this whole coronavirus, all right? And then these people can make memes and jokes about it all they want, all right? But it's not going to touch the men of the Lord, all right? Ultimately, okay? We see all types of pestilences and worse diseases than this, all right? And the thing is, look, remember, the Lord is in control of all of these things, even the coronavirus, all right? Whether it's man-made or whatever, it's natural, it doesn't matter, all right? It's not going to come out of thy dwelling, you know?
Yep. Yeah, 2nd Ezra 16 and 18, the beginning of sorrows. Salakia. I'm going to start at 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, How childish can you be, man? How dumb can you be? Second Ezra 16:19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are set as scourges for amendment.
I mean, and the thing is, like I mentioned before, the Lord is bringing back the spirit of death. All right, death is going to be a common thing. It's going to be a common smell. All right, it's going to smell like damn pennies everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, and these people aren't even listening. And even then, they think. Actually, it's very similar to that show, The Walking Dead. All right, one common trend that you see about that show is that every single person, even from the beginning of the episode to present, damn near every single character is dead at this point. All right, every single character. All right, it didn't matter how many guns they had. All right, how much they think that they were fine. All right, or how many bullets they had. They all die one which way or form. All right, and the problem with that is that what you're thinking carnally. You're not gonna. This is a holy hell you're gonna catch in those days. All right, and the same with the trials and tribulation that we fight now. All right, we don't fight it with guns. We don't fight demons with guns. We fight them with the words of the Lord. We fight it spiritually. All right, and if you think you're supposed to fight it carnally, that's just plain out idiotic, man. All right, how dumb can you be?
Inside joke. Not really, because everybody knows that nigga. One more. Second Ezra 16:20. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be mindful of the scourges.
Hey, and it's gonna be no surprise. It's gonna be no surprise that day if you even calling all your idols. All right, Jesus Christ. That's no surprise there. All right, 911. Your God, Esau, Edom. All right, none of these these idols, none of these false powers, they're not going to deliver you in those times at all. All right, there's going to be no mercy in that day. Okay, concentration camps, right? Lack of food and water. All right, and hey, the scriptures say that in that day, men and women are going to try to seek death and shall not find it. I can't even imagine what type of scenarios these people are going to be. You know, basically, it's all that judgment from the Lord, all of it.
Yep. If I can say, because it says scourges for amendment. So we know that during that time of great tribulation, we know that that's basically that's the time when it shall be known who are the Lord's chosen. So in that time, it's going to be a mass amount of judgment coming. That it's going to be the deliverance, the beginning of the deliverance of the elect. You know.
This is Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14. And it says, the great day of the Most High is near, it is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Most High, Yahweh, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly.
Yeah, if I may say, I mean, Jacob's trouble, that's a segment of time, all right? There's going to be a period of time where it's all out chaos, all right? Perils on each side, all right? The day of the Lord, remember, that's going to be one day, one very gloomy day, all right? That's what's scary about it. All right? I remember brothers put emphasis on that. It's going to be one day, 24 hours. All right, that this day of the Lord is going to happen. All right, when He's going to break the clouds, all right, and He's going to deliver His people. All right, and of course, on the other side, heavy judgment upon His enemies. Right, which of course the 2/3 of Israel included. All right.
Yes. Verse 15. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness.
Yeah, a day of desolation. And that reminds me a lot of what happened over there in Wuhan, China. All right now, that place is desolate. There's not one single soul on the street. Legit, the only person there is the paramedics or the police officers. And besides those people, not a single person. All right, just a bunch of crickets. All right, and it's gonna be just like that over here in America. All right, quarantine. I even heard Bill Gates talking about he wanted to donate $10 million. Actually wanted to split it, $5 million to Africa and $5 million to China. All right, to push that effort of global, and I quote, global militarized. I forgot how it went, but essentially he wanted to enforce and actually support the use of military towards using quarantine, right, towards this disease. All right, which that smells, of course, of martial law. All right, that's all it is. All right, because quarantine is the best way to gather the people together, the populace, all right, into one place. All right, to implement all types of all type of curfews. Right, they might have it to where you're gonna have curfews where they're gonna give you no warnings. All right, and it's gonna shoot you on sight. You know? You have the coronavirus. You're a danger to the populace. You know? Things like that.
No, that's it. I got another. This is Amos chapter. This is Amos chapter 5, verse 18. Because you hear a lot of people in these churches. Oh, I can't wait till that day. You know? All right, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Most High is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him.
Yeah, dangers on every side. Like I mentioned, The Walking Dead. Every character. I mean, spoiler alert for brothers who watch the show. But every single one of them is dead. There's gonna be so many. Remember, the Lord's gonna put the spirit on these people to straight up show no mercy, right, on every side, right? And he's even gonna use the beasts of the earth. There's plenty of videos where you have Edomites, all right, are fucking with animals at zoos, and then afterwards they fucking eat their ass, all right? And that's gonna happen to the same thing to the rest of these people out here, man. If they don't repent, all right, if they don't shamai to the prophet of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, right? It's going to be way worse than what you see on television or TV.
That's right. Malachi chapter 4, verse 1. Verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
Yeah, and we're at the time at this point, all right, where we have a lot of heathen nations. Every one of them, damn near every one of them, have access to nuclear capabilities. All right. So, and remember that these weapons they're just not going to stay there for display. All right, they're going to be used in this world war that's coming. All right. It's the same thing with the boxing gloves. You know, if you're into boxing, you're going to have the urge to use those boxing gloves. All right. And when one day, all right, and that day is soon coming. Okay.
I'll just read one more. This is Amos chapter 5, verse 20 says, shall not the day of the Most High be darkness and not light? Even very dark and no brightness in it. Because whether you realize or not, you know, a lot of our people, well, everybody, not just our people, but under the assumption that this society that's set up is going to last forever. They never consider, which the scriptures address, that the rule of law here is going to break down completely. That's why we touched on anarchy earlier. All right. So there's not going to be any 911 or anything like that. You're just going to be on your own. Everybody for himself.
That's right.
And that should frighten the hell out of you. That's why we're telling you now to get right.
That's right.
So what I want to touch on now, because a lot of you people, as a result of these Edomites, these so-called white people, you've been deceived, all right? So what I want to please, when you look up Noah Webster on the Jesuits, because ever since the time of Christopher Columbus and them setting themselves up to be the people of the Lord with that image, all right, that red leprous bastard that they've been portraying, you know, they say is what they call Jesus Christ. And if you don't know by now, that's not his image, all right? That person that's represented there was screwing his own sister. He was just a straight-up demon. Talking about Cesare Borgia, all right? Out of the first crime family, as they call it, Borgia, all right? So what I want to get real quick is, because you're dealing with a specific spirit, can I get Genesis 3? Start at the top.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. And it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord power had made. He said unto the woman, yea, hath the Most High said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die.
The thing there I want to touch on is that word subtle, meaning he was slick, he was very cunning, all right? Again, we're talking about is alluding to it's alluding to a person. It's not an actual snake, as these churches teach you. In the Samaritan Pentateuch, it tells you straight up it's talking about a person, a man. All right? So that's going to cut all that. You need to get into the habit of reading different interpretations, all right, of the scriptures. All right? Just for that, because sometimes, we always reference the King James, but some of these other ones, they go straight to the point. All right? So continue on.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 4. It says, "And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For the Most High knoweth, for the Most High doeth know, that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil."
Something else these churches teach, that this is a piece of fruit. No, it's not talking about that. It's talking about doctrine and philosophy. And the same thing going on today. Eve is always deceived. The serpent always goes to the woman first. All right, there's a pattern established here. That's why I wanted to go to this first. All right, the same thing is happening today. People, they read this in church and then they just throw it to the side, not considering the same thing continues on. The certain pattern. All right, can I get Revelation chapter 20, verse 7? Yep.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20, and I'm going to start at verse 7. "And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea."
This is talking about a specific time period. This is talking about after the fall of the Roman Empire, the first one. All right, now people don't know you're talking about two different Rome. You're talking about the pagan Roman Empire with the 12 Caesars, and you're talking about the one where Jake took over. You're talking about the Holy Roman Empire. After which you had a roughly 1,000-year period where Jake ruled. All right, followed by Esau coming back into power. He's talking about that little season there, and he deceived the whole world again. How did he deceive? We touched on this before the camp. These Bibles, some of them are put together really well. And I have a knack for going and checking out some, in order to purchase. But there's something missing. Can you go to Genesis 4th chapter, around 14th verse?
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 4. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 14. It says, "Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid."
I want to touch on right there. Someone look up in a blue letter, Genesis 4 and 14, and second face, sir.
Fine. Yeah, Genesis chapter 4, verse... Oh, Salaki, I went to 14, Salaki. Yeah, which word did you want?
Face, second.
Yeah.
From my face. Because this is going to touch on... I mentioned something was missing here. Esau can only go so far.
Got it. It's the Hebrew word panyam. Yep. The Hebrew word panyam, which means face, faces, presence, person, face of seraphim or cherubim, face of animals, face, surface of ground, as adjective of loc. Oh, okay, so like before and behind, toward, in front of, forward, formerly, from before time, before. With prep.
Go keep on.
Okay. In right here?
No.
Okay, fine.
This is what I wanted. In the Strong's definitions.
Okay.
Forefront, form, right
time?
there, inquire, face.
Salakia. Inquire, face, favor.
There you go. That word favor. Remember, he was driven from before, all right? Go ahead. Favor.
It's the word favor on edelmononline.com. It says the attractiveness, beauty, or charm. It says a favor, approval, praise, applause, partiality. It says goodwill, inclination, partiality, support. To show kindness, to honor, revere, worship.
There you go. So he was driven. So he cannot know, because part of that word face there is the knowledge and understanding of the Most High. So he was driven from among that. And a lot of people, they take Esau. That's why you have to be very careful when you get into these Bibles about all these commentaries and such, because this man just can't get it. Now he knows enough to mess with us, and that should be apparent because the elites know what's going on. You know, they at least have that much. All right. But again, this is a specific spirit that we're dealing with. All right, we're talking about Esau Edom. He's made to be the wicked, and the wicked he is going to be. There's no repentance for him.
That's
right. Let's see. Go to Daniel chapter 9, chapter 12, verse 9 and 10. Probably shot. All right, because this is another thing. Esau will have you believe that you can go to his seminaries and his theology schools, and you know you can get a grasp or study the Most High's theology. All right, so he can put the Most High in a box. All right, this is how arrogant this individual is. All right. No. Yeah, who's got Daniel?
Which one did you know?
Chapter 12, verse 9.
Okay, I got it.
Verse 10.
Yep. Daniel chapter 12, verse 9. And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the end of time. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand.
And none of the wicked shall understand. Malachi chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 1, verse 4.
Book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4. And it says, Whereas Edom said, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, They shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh have indignation forever.
Come, indignation forever. Did I just say we're talking about a group of people here, a nation that is, that they cannot repent? These are the very same people that you've trusted in to deliver the word. All right? This is why a lot of you are confused and will never get it.
That's right.
Aside from the fact of the Most High, you know, this all works in tandem. All right? Ultimately, this is the Most High's doing. All right? But you got to look at the mechanism by which this is going on. How he's able to deceive you. Because all of you have kissed his ass and still got your head up his ass.
Yep, that's right.
All right? Like I said, going to these schools, getting yourself in debt, and you're not learning anything.
Yeah.
And when you come up before us and we try to, listen, none of us are arrogant to the point where we want you to just trust what we say, take it face value. But there are some, you go to these people every Sunday, and they sit in these pulpits and tell you things, and you just believe it. You never go and research it. Oh,
This is the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 18. And it says, That which he labored for, he says, that which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not.
Exactly. The poor being the Israelites. This whole I mentioned earlier about Columbus, I went into Revelations 20 and 7 and 8 and covered that period. This whole time period between the time of Columbus up until, I'm going to say, well, it's continuing on, but I'm just going to use on the eve of the Civil War, I'm going to say around 1859, all right? That whole period, there was a transfer of wealth on a huge scale between these people and Edomites, so-called white people. That's how they got to where they are today. All right? From rape, robbery, and murder of these people.
That's right.
And that's how they built their kingdom. All right? And they're not repentant for it. They can give a damn how we feel. You know? And our people are still, well, maybe if I do this, maybe if I do that, they'll love me. All right? our people are just gone. You know, going back to that Zechariah 13 and 8. There's got to be a separation because a lot of our people are just too far gone.
Yep, that's right.
All right, did you have to say?
It's the book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 1. And it says, woe to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. And it says, no, that was it. Read that again. This is Nahum, chapter 3, verse 1. It says, woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not.
All full of lies and robbery. Everywhere you go, this is a land of a scam, all right? You have to be very careful. And, I mean, I like to say, you know, reading the fine print, I like to say the devil is in the details. A lot of people, it's really fucked up that in most of your contracts, you have to get an attorney.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I mean, think of it, even when it goes to the Bible, Latin was a language of the elite, the aristocrats, you know. And even to this day, I let you know that also this is the revived Roman Empire. But you're reading these contracts, you know, you're reading the fine print, you're like, you know, all of them coming like, what the fuck? So if you don't have anybody to interpret it for you, you know, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. You miss a payment or something like that, and you're like, well, I didn't see that. Of course you didn't, because I didn't want you to see it. You know, that's who you're dealing with.
Yep.
And can you get that, Isaiah?
Yep. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 59, verse 14. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and in quiet cannot enter. Salakia, and equity cannot enter. Salakia. Is that the word? Yeah, 59 and 14.
Pray hasteneth to be loose.
Hey, look that up. Pray hasteneth to be
I thought it was 59:15. But in any case, we know who the prey is. The prey are these people on this side, all right? And if you're not hastening the day, as the scriptures say, you're not wanting to get out of here. Again, going back, a lot of our people are going to die, and rightfully so, because they want to stay in this bitch. We, however, don't. Anything as far
It's
as,
26. It was 26 and 16. Wait. No. So that's not. Yeah, that's not it.
Anyway,
It's the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. And it says, Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets to his servants, the prophets.
going back to what I had called for in Daniel. This is for a specific people, all right? So therefore, only a specific people are going to be able to interpret this book.
That's right.
Not everybody. All right, it should be apparent by now. A lot of people, they come up here because they've gone to these schools, they've listened to these preachers, Jeremiah 23. They've listened to these preachers, and when we come up here, they're like, you know, deers in the headlights. They got that look, you know, eyes glossed over, you know, like what the hell? So instead of coming up here and getting into your emotions, like I said, why don't you take the time to study? Humble down. That's all. If the Spirit's working with you, you're going to get it. All right? In any case, you're either going to come up here and get, you know, judged either way, for the good or for the bad.
Start at 1. Jeremiah 23 and 1. Woe be to the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, power of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them.
That's right. Scattered the flock. The Lord's flock is Israel. Unfortunately, because of slavery and what I just mentioned, at certain time period from the time of Columbus, and all these things were taken away from us. Remember Jeremiah 17 and 4, our heritage was stripped away. All right? Even the name. All right? That's why this slavery was so devastating to our people. We didn't even have the name to call on. It took everything.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And it says, And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy inheritance that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not, but ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
God. Because we what? We played the harlot. We went to every other god but the Most High, Yahweh. All right? All right? Always seeking that greener grass as we thought it was. Because we thought all the other nations had it better than us. All right? And no one's going to say, well, no one can say that we don't deserve it, because we do. But, fortunately, and this is a very good time to be alive, because we're seeing the curses that were on us being transferred to our enemies. All right, per Deuteronomy 30 and 7. Can you get Sirach 25 and 7? Get that one first. Sirach, Father Patel.
It's the book of Sirach.
No.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 7. And it said, there be 9 things that which I have judged in my heart to be happy. And the 10th will I utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children.
Which you can't presently. All right. We see it all the time where we are at a main camp. Little children all by themselves. No parents. You know, with all these pedophiles and everything else lurking around here. You know.
It says, a man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies.
And that's the time that we're in now, because we're seeing this kingdom fall.
That's right.
And we're seeing these Edomites, these so-called white people, jumping through their own asshole trying to save this bitch. And it's not going to happen.
That's right. Yep. Deuteronomy 30 and 7. And the Lord thy God, power, will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
Now, the thing you have to take into account, I'm sure everybody remembers at a certain age, and if you're not, you didn't miss nothing. But the crack epidemic, the contrast of how they treated Jake during that time and what's going on now with this opioid crisis, it should make you sick. All right, they want to come up with all these excuses now. Well, this is a different time, and the medical field has changed. They say, no, it's bullshit. All that was designed to break up a family, which it did. All right, and you still suffer the effects from that with these so-called crack babies that they call. All right, because a lot of our people are still buzzed the fuck out, and that chemical is going down. It keeps going down generations. You know? So, like I said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So it's happening to them now. Like, hey, you're raised. Good. Good. Go ahead.
Psalms 10 and 2. The wicked and his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined.
Exactly. And that's what's happening now. All right. A lot of them, too. The child support situation. A lot of them are getting caught up in that. All right.
Food stamps.
Doesn't feel so good. Food stamps, all that. And a lot of people fail to realize Trump is trying to get a lot of people off these entitlement programs. Well, they're the majority. So, again, you're getting caught up in your own shit because what was designed to fuck over Jake is now happening to you. All right? It's coming on your own head. All right? Can I get Psalms 9 and 15?
Come on, there.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Psalms 9 and 15. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, in the net which they hid in their own foot taken. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands.
And this is the Most High behind all this. And like I said, it is beautiful. Rock 25 and 7. We're living in a time where we're seeing this devil going down. And all these traps he set up for Jake, he's falling into them himself.
That's right.
And I'm laughing every time I read the news or I see it on TV and hear it. You know, good. And, yeah, Sirach again. Bring it out. They bring it out enough.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 25. This is Sirach, chapter 25, verse 7. And it says, there be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th will I utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies.
Liveth to see the fall of your enemies. That's the time we're in now.
That's right.
All That's why I say keep prayed up, enjoy the brotherhood. In fact, give me 1 Timothy 5, start at 4.
This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5, and verse 4. Salakia. Yep. But if any widow have children or nephew, second and first.
1 Thessalonians.
Oh, okay, Salakia.
Salakia.
Yep. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 4. That ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Verse 6. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober.
There you go. Watch. All right? Because things are happening now and things are picking up as far as these prophecies go. All right? So watch. And while you're watching, of course, you're going to be sober. Of course, you're going to be stay prayed up. All right? So that's what's going on now. Like I said, these prophecies are popping off just like popcorn. All right?
One more precept?
Yeah.
1 Thessalonians 5 and 17, just to back up what you said, Pray without ceasing.
Pray without ceasing. All right? Prayer is very important. Of course, you have to have the right name. Proverbs 16. You have to have the right name. We're not talking about Jesus Christ or any of that crap. That's why I started off earlier talking about who put all this together. You have to be very careful. All right?
Proverbs 18 and 10. The name of the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe.
That strong tower, knowing the name, all right? Knowing the right name. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, all right? That's who we pray to.
It's the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse. I start at 1. And it says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he was saying to me, and what I shall answer when I reprove. And the Lord said unto me, and the Lord answered me and said,